Hello, hello. I think we are live. Can someone confirm that? Okay, I think this is working. Hey everyone again. Episode 3 of Parking System with Laravel and VueJs. I got Andre again with me today here. Hi Andre.
Hello.
He's gonna keep me company and guide me if I stray away. Okay, so let's get into it. So behind the scenes, I made a few small changes that I missed in the previous stream, and let's quickly go over them. First of them was the missing pivot table between the garage and the spot attribute. And yeah, just a quick overview. We're referencing the garage, we're referencing the price attribute, and this is the pivot table that will hold the price per hour in cents of this specific attribute on this specific garage. Next, the assignment between the spot and the spot attribute. We need to hold this information for pricing purposes, of course. Right, so the main database header has been populated, and I done this behind the scenes because it's a pretty boring boring task. So this is how it's done. Yeah, in the seeders, in the database seeder, you put all your under seeders. So we got this size seeder and the spot attribute seeder, and this is something we did last time, and then I added this on top. Yeah, so we got the garage seeder, and this will seed 10 garages. Next we have the prices. So we'll go through each garage and create a price for it. So we got 3 pricing tiers based on the size. The smallest will be $5 or whatever currency we choose, 6 and 7. And in the JSON column, we have the And in the JSON column, we have this this logic of holding the prices. So this will be the custom rates, and I'll show you in a second how this will look. Yeah. So without all of this functions, it will look something like this. Yeah, you'll have amount, and this is the custom amount, and let's say it will be $10, and then you'll have the hours. So between 9 o'clock and 17, you'll have the rate of 10, but you can also put the days. So and this will be in an array 1, 2, 3. So 1 will be Monday, Tuesday, and so on. If you leave the days out, the prices will be applied on every day, and if you leave the hours out, the prices will be applied for the full day. So that's something to keep in mind. And what I'm doing here is just generating here. I'm imploding and making some random hours and some random days to have a bit more random data. And the last one is the price for the big vehicles. One moment, I think the music is a bit too loud. Should be better now. Okay, next on the list is the spot attribute, garage spot attribute seeder, and this will go through each garage and get some attributes. So, and then we attach them to the garage with a random price. Next, the spot seeder. This will go through every garage and create a random of between 10 and 30 spots for this specific garage, and so on. This will create the attributes for the spot. We will also create some reservations. So each spot will get at maximum 3 reservation in the seeder, and this is just saying maybe create the first one, maybe create the second, and maybe create the third. So this will be a bit random as well. We don't want all the data to be the same. And Andre, you suggested something about Faker. It didn't quite work as expected. in the seeder. So if I use the trait with faker like the one from PHP unit, that one is null during seeding. So that's why I went back with this.
Okay.
Right. So we'll have some reservations created, and we also have some vehicles. Okay. So I think this covers it. Let's commit this. So this will be behind the scenes. And this will be seeders and missing tables. Right. Let's commit this and push it. I don't wanna review it, just push it. Okay, so we are starting clean now, and the plan of the day is to get this data from the endpoints. Yeah. So let's take a look back at the endpoints. We got the register, this one is working. We got the token, this one is working, and we have the me endpoint. So next one will be the garages and the spots. So let's start with that. I picked a good habit of using API resources and resource collections. So this is what we're gonna do. So PA, and this is the alias for PHP Artisan. Let's make a resource, and the first one was the garage. Okay, so garage resource. Okay, so after this command, in our app HTTP resources, we have the garage resource, and this will allow us to return this data in a format that we want. So it's like a transformer. And here you can pass all the fields that you want to get from this resource. Yeah. So the ID, we want this ID, and let's just test with this initially. Also, when you have a collection, like when you want to return multiple garage resources, that's a resource collection, and you can do that garage again with make resource. You can do garage collection. I know, Andre, sometimes you also do garage resource collection, if I remember correctly. Yes. But I think this is clean as well. So let's go with this. But if the naming, so because this follows the naming of the model and the resource, you don't have to, I think you do it this way if it's not, and then you can, you get some.
I use -c, just doing the same.
-c?
Yeah, just one quick word to the resource collections. I call them, in your case, it would be garage resource collection, because I like to have like a query or eloquent collection for relations, and I'm very often use custom resource collections. Not resource collections, query collections, and that I always call them what they are, and that's a resource collection. So I call it, in this case, resource collection. If I add an eloquent collection, then it's also called garage eloquent collection, and so you don't mix up the names.
Okay, so let it be the resource collection.
Well, it's fine if you do it your way. It's just my personal habit.
Okay, let's stick with your personal habit. So, all right, let's go to my favorite route.
The legendary mic route.
The legendary mic route. Yeah, I don't think we have this started. And now we do. And let's make sure we migrate fresh and see the data, so we know that everything works. But before that is done, what we want to return a new garage resource collection. And this will, well, let's just get all the garages at the moment. Some cleanup. Okay, this is done. Let's check the database what we have. So per seeder, we had 10 random garages, and these garages have spots with random data, and each spot has, well, some of them have reservations. So let's go into the implementation of retrieving this data and displaying it. Okay, so what we do here, we create an instance of resource collection, and we pass all the resources in here. So if I hit this route now, this is what I'm getting, and let's actually switch this better to Postman, and this is what we get. We have our data wrapped in data and displayed here. So everything else we put in our garage resource will be shown here. So let's check the names, the columns. Okay, we got a zip code.
You can open the table in your database view on the right side.
Yes, I could do that, but I'm not taking the... well, let's actually do that. Was this the one?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. When you click on that little arrow on the right side of your database view.
Ah, you mean
they see all your columns.
Yes, that works as well.
And you can even copy them from there.
Yes, that works as well.
Maybe sometimes column names are a little bit longer, so I just copy them from there.
Okay, I didn't want to copy because I'm making the coordinates now, and I want to have them like this. So,
yeah.
So LNG. So these ones on the left don't have to match the ones on the right. So these are just keys, and you populate them with data, and you just reference the. When you do this, it's not referencing this resource, but it's referencing the underlying model behind this resource. So LNG, LAT.
It's referencing the resource.
Well,
the actual resource, which is the model.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that, and I don't think we need any other information for now. So let's see in here. And we have the expected result. Now, what we also want is when we display this list of garages, we also want to show the total spots and the number of free spots, but free spots in the moment of the query. Yeah. So let's go and make that controller first, so we don't use the route anymore. So PHP artisan make controller API. And this was garage controller. And this will create a controller here. Do you want to use invocable or just index?
I always stick to the old behavior.
Index. Index
Yeah.
it is. Okay, let's accept the request. And let's copy this. Okay, and okay, so we will change this query a bit because we also want to eager load the spots and also the free spots. All right, let's put the return type and create the API endpoint. So, you remember I told you about creating that well, this is an internal route, and I think I'm going to handle the control of this via middleware. So let's also do that. And this will be internal. Do you usually append middleware name to your middleware?
Sometimes.
Okay, today is not the day.
No.
Okay, so internal middleware, and we have to define it in kernel. So Let's do it internal.
But I like to name my middlewares in a specific way sometimes, like ensure, maybe like the verified, ensure email is verified, kind of this way. Like, I don't know, for an API token, ensure API token or something.
You're moving too much, Andre. You're moving too much. Your microphone is scratchy again.
All right.
Okay, so back to the kernel. We define the middleware here in order to use it. At the moment is empty. I will think about the exact implementation. Maybe we'll have a whitelist of a referral or something, or maybe something in the header. What do you think is better? To check on the referrer or header? Andre.
Oh, you asked me. All right.
Yeah.
It's up to you. What do you like more?
I think it's more secure.
Usually use headers.
Yeah, but the headers can be inspected, and someone can maliciously access this route. So I think a whitelist of some sorts will be helpful in this case.
Or maybe a combination.
Yeah. So let's duplicate the group. This will be internal. Okay, and the first route will be garages. Andre, your microphone again.
Come on. I need some headphones with microphone in it. I need a proper headset.
Yeah. Okay, so with this endpoint, we'll go to the garage controller index method, and this will return the collection of transformed resources. So let's see how this works. So instead of using mic, we can go to API and garages, and this should return the same thing. Okay, so what I wanted in here, and I'm not sure if this is the way you do it, but this is the way I used to do it in other projects. So I'll do 3 spots in here, and also total spots. And I will transform the data from the controller in here. Yeah. So what I want you to do is do a count first, a with. I want to use with count, and this is an array, and this will be get. Is that correct? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so what we want is we want to get the count of all the spots, and this will be as total spots, and also we want to get the spots as free spots, but this will be a closure. Okay, and this one will be a query, and this will be a builder, and this is the eloquent builder, I believe. And let's also actually I have an idea. So let's do this, and let's not do what I wanted to do here, but instead just do a get. Yeah. And I'll open array and inspect the resources. Yeah, so let's keep this on top. Let's do array. I don't have array installed. What is this madness? Okay, let me.
Maybe not on that project.
Yeah. Okay, let's do Laravel array, and it's gonna be. Okay, it's gonna be this one. Getting started. Install the free package, and this will be Laravel, and let's require it. Okay, while we wait for this, let's also publish the config. So what this will allow us to do now is do something like array. I think it's show queries, and this will show me all the queries that have been executed in this in this function. So let's test it out. Yeah, and this is kind of doing what it should be. It's selecting all the entries from the garages. Now, I know some people used to do relationships in here, and then eager load them and calculate them. So the total spots will be, and this is the wrong way of doing things, but just an example of how not to do things. Yeah. So you'll do spots and then count. Yeah, and this will take the spots relationship and do a count on it, and you can do the same in here, but grab the spots and then do the query, you know, of filtering them. So based on the, yeah, let's call this out. Based on the reservations, we can check the start and end date compared to the current time. But as I said, this is the wrong way, and without even this query. Yeah, if we do this, it's open, right? Yeah, and if we do this, first of all, we're not using eager loading, so all the spots will be calculated. Well, all the garages will make a reference to the spots. Yeah, so I'm using spots once, I'm using spots twice, and this is why it's doing so many queries. So instead of doing that, I want to have one property on the garage, and that will be with count. Yeah. So let's get back to this, and instead of calculating it from the model, I can reference this, and I'm passing the total spots, and then I'll have 3 spots. Yeah, and what the 3 spots should look like. So we need to check the spots that do not have reservation overlapping with current time. Yeah. So let's do that. So we don't. So this eloquent is just spells like you want it. So where doesn't have, and this is how we can specify what relationship we don't have. We don't want this entry to have. So we don't want the spots to have a reservation, but we need a closure. And again, we pass the builder and the query. So if we don't do this, if we don't do the closure, let me show you how it will look like. Okay, back to this. Yeah. So we get all the spots, but and as you can see, because I did with count, we have only one query executing the this calculation. So the stress is being passed correctly to the database without having to make multiple queries for each entry. This is called lazy loading. But in this case, we just compute it, so it's even better, because we don't retrieve the actual spots, we just retrieve the calculation of the total and the free spots. Okay. So Andrzej, this is something that I think I will need your help on.
So you don't want the overlappings.
Yeah. So in this case, I just want your microphone again.
I know.
And I don't think there's an actual method of comparing if the like where not between. Is that?
I don't know. I can just tell you how I did it.
Uh-huh.
And you compare the end date with the start date of what you're looking for, and the same with the start should not be smaller.
Yeah, but I'm not comparing intervals in this case. I just want one entry to know if it's between two columns. Yeah? So this is start, this is end, and if now is between this, then this will be a reservation. Yeah, and that's what I don't want to have.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the reservations relationship with this condition. So now if we do the query again, we should get what's expected. So let's clean this up, do this again. Only one query, and it's getting us all the spots, and it's also getting us the free spots. And let's actually do a check on that. Noise. Let's actually do a check on that and see that it works correctly. So what we want is reservations. This was garage 1. So let's check the reservations for the garage 1 first. Let's see the spots for the garage 1. And this is, oh, quite a few of them. So the first 20, yeah, are the spots for the garage 1. So now if you go into reservations, well, we have just the first spot with the reservation. And this is in the future. Yeah. So let's put it a bit in the past with the finish in the future. So this should be one less free spot. And instead of getting 13, we should get 12. And it seems it works. So, yay. Do you have anything to add to this approach, Andre?
No, looks good.
Okay. Do you mind having this query inside here? Hmm? Do you think this should be?
You mean in order to keep the controller clean?
Yeah.
I think that's totally fine. Everything exciting 10 lines of controller method could be refactored. Doesn't have to. It looks fine to me.
Okay. Then let's continue with the next endpoint. So this is fine. We have the approval. Let's go to the garages, garage ID, and then spots. So by my calculations, this should be a new controller, again in the API, and this will be spot controller. All right. This again will be index, but as we can see from the spec, we have to pass the garage ID and then get the spots. Yeah. So this will accept a parameter, and let's build this one first. This is an internal endpoint. So garage is garage and then spots, and this will reference the spot controller. And the index, so that's fine. Now in the parameters, we can put garage model and then garage. And what this will do, because the naming here is garage and this is garage, and I put the variable here garage, this will inject the actual model found here, and it will error out if it doesn't exist. So let's check this out.
It's also called root model binding.
Root model binding, yes.
Or route model binding. I don't know.
And this is by default taking ID. But now, if you have a different primary key of the model, you can specify, or if you want to find it by a different column, you can do that here. Like, let's say maybe you have UUIDs or you have slugs. You can do stuff like this, and instead of searching by ID, so what it's doing here is doing a find, yeah? And instead of doing it by ID, it's doing by UUID, and you can specify it after the semicolons here. Okay, but we want the default one, ID, and this should retrieve the garage. So let's check that out. So if we do this, then we should have our garage in here, and if we don't have a valid one, this will be a 404. Great. Alrighty, let's enable array again. Okay, and what we want here is to retrieve all the spots of this garage. So let's do that. Let's put this in a variable first. Spots equal garage, and we can reference the relationship now. Spots. No, if I remember correctly, we have the size ID, and this is a relationship. So let's eager load that. Or, okay, so this is a good example to show what would happen if we don't eager load it. And this, I think, is a better example than the previous one with count. Yeah. So let's do get, and I don't think we have a spot resource yet, so let's create it. Spot resource, and we'll add a collection. Okay, now let's modify the resource. What else do we have here in the spot? We have the garage, but we don't need that now. We need the size, but we can do this size, yeah, and name, or we can reference the collection. So let's do that. This will be size, floor, and number. Okay, but remember we didn't eager load this time, so let's actually remove this and let's return directly a spot resource collection, and we want to put the spots in here. So we're taking the garage, we're taking the spots, and we're doing a get, and that should format the resource. And back to Postman. One moment. So if we did that correctly, then we can see the actual data from the database. Now, again, this is an unoptimized way, because we want to get the size, and we get the size, but we didn't eager load it. We didn't eager load it. So even though we are asking for a collection here, it doesn't find it on the model, and then it's doing a database request. So instead, we can do eager loading with width, and we can do size. Yeah? So if you clean this up and open Postman again, fire it up, now we have only two queries. One is taking the spots, and one is eager loading the sizes. Okay. And we have the same result, but in an optimized way, and it's also super fast. Okay, now about this, let's think about the workflow. Like the user opens the application, and he wants to check for a free spot in an interval. Yeah, so we can give him all the spots, but he will have the availability of now. But what we want is, maybe we want to book in the future, because I think that's the main purpose of this application. So we should be able to filter in this request. So let's do that. And let's do it in line first, and then we can extract it to a scope. So filtering should look like, one moment. And I think this is your expertise, Andre. It's based on your experience on that TFW project. I was thinking of a way to do this, and I'll show you what I came up with, and I'll also explain the issues with it. So what we want is to pass a start, and we also want to pass an end. Yeah, so this will be our interval. What we have in the database is something like this. Yeah. So we will check against the reservations. Yeah, and they have a start and they have an end. So this is what they will usually have. And what we can pass can be like this. So this is the case 1. Our interval is outside the any of the reservation intervals, and this is fine. Yeah. The second case is, so let's do case 1. Case 1. Case 2. It can be outside in this side. Yeah, and these are the 2 happy cases, and this is what we want to actually get. We want to get the spots that do not have a reservation in this interval. Yeah? So if the intervals are outside, we're fine. But we have, so this is happy, and this is happy. And let's go with case 3. And this can start outside, but the ending date can be here. Yeah. And this is unhappy.
Not happy.
Case 4. It can be in and in. So another case. In case 5, it can start in and it can finish outside. Oh, and there's a case 6 as well.
Yes.
And case 6 is it starts outside and it finishes outside, but this is still unhappy because it contains the reservation period. So what would be your approach? I'm going to show you what I had in mind, and then we can try your approach, because I think yours is better.
The one you mentioned on the TFW project was slightly different because it was dates on the days. Yeah. So it was a certain point, and then you could check if the range you want to check for is affected by this day. Here you have a range, and you want to check for another range if there's some overlapping and something different. So yeah, let me see your approach and we find something out.
Okay. So first of all, let's pass this these parameters and dump them. So we want to pass here a start, and we want to pass an end, and this will be dates. So let me grab a date in here with a T and a Z. All right, so we'll check with a big interval first. Yeah, so this will be directly case 6. Yeah. And let's the request all. Okay, and we have our dates passed. Now we can check for that. Do you want to do it directly in let's do it directly in how is it called? Scope. Yeah, so let's go to the spot model. And this will be a filter, and the filter will accept initially a builder. And this is an eloquent builder. Do you say builder or query usually? I think it's
it's just query because I got learned it that way.
Okay, so let it be filters, and let's dump the filters here and see that we have them passed correctly. So spots, and then we can use filter, and we can pass the data from the request, and we can use, oh, it's not this, it's request, and we want only the start for now and the end. Let's generate the helper code. So now I know that I'm saying, I thought this should have been
PHP still has to index first.
Come on, do it. Well, it doesn't matter. So we pass the data from the request, and let's see if we have it. So we should still have the dump, and we do. And let's do oh, that was slow. And let's do the actual filtering now. So are you using this when, Andre? So this will be when condition, yeah. And then you'll have a closure. So what we want to check is if the filters that we passed have a start and an end date. So Ray has the filters, and let's check for start and end. And let's import the actual. Okay. And okay. So this will be another query builder. And let's use the filters. So when this condition will be true, and only then we go in the closure. Yeah. So we have a start, when we have an end, and let's start the actual filtering. So we are on the spots now, and what we want is we want spots that do not have a reservation. So kind of the same like the previous one comparing to now, but in this case we'll have to compare it with an interval. So let's try. So it doesn't have, again, the relationship name. Okay. I feel like I'm passing quite a few builders in here. And again, this will be a query because we a closure because we want to analyze the period. So let's make multiple some variables here, and first of all I will transform the data that was passed in carbon instances. So let's do, well, since we know that we have a start, we have an end, I don't think we even need array get in this case. Or do you use it all the time?
I use it all the time.
All right. So have a start. Oh, I think, yeah, look at this. So I think this is a default keybind. And if you are inside here and you do Control W, you see how it expands? And so you can do stuff like this, and it will expand from function to function. From scope to scope. Okay, and this will be end. So now we have two carbon instances, and we'll make the comparison based on that. So let's do the closure now. Yeah. So in this case, we'll have 4 conditions. Yeah. So first one is we're between, and I have a note here. It says this interval is kind of messing a bit with my mind. So it doesn't feel too natural. That's why I thought maybe you'll have a better solution for this. So the start, yeah, it's between start and end. or where between. And now this is the case when, let me think about it. I think this is this case 3, when the start, so we're taking the start and we're checking if it's between this and this. So this condition will solve the case 3. Yeah. Now where between end will solve the case 5. Yeah. Now next we can check for where raw, and we can use, and this will be like the single where raw. So 2 of those as well. So this will be like the comparison of the now. Yeah. And we'll grab between start and end. And we'll pass our start in here. And this is, we'll replace it. And let's do the same here. And this will be end. Okay, so let's check if all the cases have been fixed. And let's move this on here. All right, case 1, good. Case 2, good. It's outside. Case 3 is the first one, because the start is between start and end that we pass. Case 5 is this line. The end is between start and end. And now next is making the other comparison of the start date is between those two. Yeah. And this will solve case 4, and it also handles case 5 in this case by default. And next one is with the end date. So if the end date is in here, this will solve case 3 and case 4 as well, because it's between them.
Right. Yeah, looks good to me. Let's check it out if it works the way as is expected. I think my approach can work here as well. But let's check this out first.
Okay, does it? One second. Okay, back to Postman. What a break.
Good idea. I'm talking too much.
Okay, so we got the start, and this is a date in the past, a date in the future, and this should not. Okay, so what I believe in this case happens is these 2 spots don't actually have any reservation. Do you believe
you
it?
can check it out.
Okay, so we shouldn't have any reservations with spot 3. And we don't.
Correct.
And we shouldn't
That's
have any with spot ID 10.
That's correct.
That is correct. Great. Okay, let's do some other stuff. Back to 2020, and this is both are in the past, and that means all the, even if it doesn't make sense to check in the past, we should get
they should not be there anymore.
Yeah, and what we should get in this case is all the spots. Yeah, and this should also be the case when we put both of them in the future. Yes, great. Now, do you think this is a potential issue with getting the data from the request like that? I don't think it's possible to do an SQL injection here, since we parse it with Carbon, And this will give an error if it's not a valid date anyway.
Yeah, and you replace it in the raw at least, but not in the other ones, in the first two. So yeah.
And also, I'm replacing it in the safe way.
You could use the validation in your request, and yeah. But problem is if you use a form request for that, and you can validate your get or your params from URL. You can validate them as well in your form request, but the issue there is that it will always return early. It won't get to the controller method itself when there's a validation error. So it's hard to handle that in your application.
Okay.
So
I will leave this one here for reference.
but on the other hand, you're doing a API request there, so the application should be able to handle status 422. So maybe it is fine to do it that way. The validation in your form request.
So you think I should do it? Make a form request for this?
Yeah, I would always try to be on the safe side.
Okay, so
and if you can validate it, why not?
You agree with this name? Spot index request.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't like these comments anymore. I have my return type.
Yeah, I removed them as well. No.
Alrighty, so this one was start.
Yes.
And end.
So,
and they are
both.
optional. They're both optional. I think it's nullable.
Yeah, sometimes.
Is that
the rule is sometimes. If you don't have this param in your request, it's not validated. If it's there, it should follow the next rules. So like, let's say it should be in date. Then
do you like
when it's there, it has to be a date. If it's not there, it doesn't matter.
Do you like the array rules or the string rules?
Yeah, I always use the array stuff.
Okay, let's do the same then. So sometimes, and this will be a date.
No.
What do you want?
No separation with the pipe. That's what you do when you have it as a string.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
Let's see if this.
So when you now go to your controller and DD, the request validated, should be there and fine. And then you can pass. You don't have. Yeah. All right. So there it is. And what you can do now is, instead of doing the request only, you can do the request validated. Right.
Got it.
So everything that is in the spot index request defined in the rules will be passed, and nothing else.
Okay. Right. And the result is the same. Okay, let's continue with the. Do we want any other filters on this endpoint, or do you think we should change the payload of the spot? I think this is enough info.
Well, it depends on where it will heading to. The whole thing. I don't have an opinion about that at the moment.
Okay, then let's continue with the.
So, let's check the other cases.
Cases. You mean the filter cases?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have something which case 3, case 5, case 4, which we have to check.
What I said, you want the actual check from here.
Yeah, let's grab a date and see that this particular spot is not there.
Okay, so spot ID is garage ID 1, and let's put the date of, let's go from the 6th of, from the 1st of June and to the 2nd of June.
It is already.
Hmm?
It is already the 2nd.
Oh, right.
Okay.
And let's put actually 2359 in here. And this will be 00. Okay. Let's check the dates. So with this interval in the future, the first one should still be here. 21. This is from this 6/01 2021, and let's go with 10 o'clock. So
should not be there
should
anymore.
not be here anymore.
All right.
And it's not
Good.
so good.
Yeah. So looks like it's working. But I think you can maybe you can simplify a little bit. So like now you have 4 conditions. You're checking. I think 2 is enough, and it's just the same as I did in the other project. Okay,
please guide me.
So no, it's easy. All you have to do is to check the the date is or the range is what you pass into the filter, and the how should I call it? I want 2 different names for that. It's easier to.
Can you try something?
The database date.
Sorry,
I call it database.
Can you try something? Can you try to move your microphone a bit from your?
It's here.
Yeah. So it keeps scratching on it.
No good.
No good. Okay, so please.
Maybe I don't speak that too loud.
No, you can just hold it a bit in front. Yeah, much better.
Better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So what I mean is all you have to check if the date you query is the end of the date you want to check is smaller than the date in the database, right? And the start of the date you want to check must be bigger than the end of the date in the database. So it's only 2 conditions. So let's go with case 1. All right.
Yep.
So what you're doing is that the condition is that the end of case 1 is smaller than the start of case 0, right? So if this is the case, everything's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So case 2 is the start of case 2 is bigger than the end of case 0, right? So that's 2 conditions you have to check, nothing else. So same on 3, you see that the end of case 3 is bigger than the beginning of case 0, right? So this won't match. So case 4, the start of case 4 is bigger than now it's smaller than the end of case 0, and even the end of case 4 is bigger than the start. So the only 2 conditions you have to check is the start must be bigger than the one you want to check in the database, and or equal. Maybe it can.
Well, wait a second. The start. This is what I have in the database. So the start has to be smaller than what I pass. Yes.
No, start has to be smaller than the end, and the end has to be bigger than this. All right, let's go again from case 1. You see that the end of case 1 is smaller than the start of case 0. So let's translate that into database query.
This is a bit confusing because we have negation here, so it's like thinking a bit backwards. Like this condition will cover the bad cases, you know, but the others will not be. So we have to think vice versa. So we need to we need condition for case 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the start of the interval has to be. You see, in this.
I think the conditions are the same.
So the end has to be bigger than the start. So start has to be smaller than the end.
All right, now I got what you want. Yeah, in this case you have to combine both conditions. Yeah.
So I think this is
one has to be true. You know, the end has to be bigger than the start, or the start has to be smaller than the end, and not end both of them. It's confusing. I know.
Wait.
But what I told you about the both conditions is you want to find something that is not colluding with the one in the database. So yeah, you have to do the other way around.
Mm-hmm. I think this should work. Let's try it.
Yeah, but you have to connect them with like it should not be or, it should be end, I think.
Well, what it is end in this case.
Right. Yeah, I just tell.
Okay, so this should be the same. Now, if we put 2020 and 23, nice. Again, those two.
Yeah.
And if we go from 6, let's go
back in the past, like 2020 again.
Okay.
You will see all of them.
And if we go to 5, we should also see the 1. Genius. I like it. And with this, I don't think even we can do this. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
So much cleaner.
Yes.
Should this be equal as well? I think it's on milliseconds, so it doesn't. There's a almost 0 chance of this happening. You know what I mean? Like, should I put equal?
But, yeah, maybe the date format should be like within the seconds and not anything else. Mm-hmm. And maybe even minutes should be okay. So.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what do you store in the database? It's only minutes.
Seconds.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, not milliseconds, seconds.
Not milliseconds, right?
Yeah. Okay, so there's still a chance of it happening. So let's keep it.
So when the dates hit the database, they will be converted anyway to the date time format. So without milliseconds, so that doesn't affect you anyway.
Yes.
So when the period you want to search for ends on the same second, it should be okay.
Mm-hmm. Good. So you've been very helpful with this. I have to remember it because I saw it. Well, I saw it last time you did it a few years ago, but I kind of forgot it. And I was thinking of how exactly did you do it, but it's so confusing when also you have to think backwards here.
Yeah.
Because of the doesn't have. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, but it's a good approach to draw it down. You know, like with the cases you were drawing there, and so it becomes much more clearer what you want to check.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
will write some tests for this, but I think I will do it in the background again, since it's the stream is already getting too long.
Yeah.
Let's create these endpoints fast, and we'll go a bit faster for this. So I was thinking of this reservations with start and end. So you have a list of all the spots of the garage, and you know that the reservation is available in that daytime, since you have to put the interval before you can make a reservation in the future. Yeah. So let's create that reservation controller.
On the request.
Oh yes. Okay. 1 second. I'm checking this song to not be copyrighted, so I don't have my audio taken down.
I don't hear the audio anyway.
Yeah, but it will
Yeah.
be on the stream, so have to care about that. Okay, so the reservation, what we want is to create one. So let's accept this. Let's also make the request, and this will be how do you have it with reservation store or create reservation request?
I would use say the reservation create request.
Reservation create.
Yeah. So you will end up with a lot of requests.
Yes, but that's fine.
And if you see the request in the file list, then you will always know which one to take. If you follow that path, like that model, that method.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to do. Yeah, there might be a different way, but I think fine for me.
Okay. So let's dump here. Let's go back to our API, and this will be a protected route, a protected authenticated route. So you need to be authenticated to access it. So let's do route under your mic again. Reservations. I think this is what we called it. Yes. So posted reservations. I think this stream is getting a little bit long as well, but it is what it is. Okay, so create reservation store, and let's dump the thingy. So let's see first if we are. Let's do the me route. Duplicate. No, it was a get. I think it ticketed basic auth. But it's not.
No, it's Bearer token.
Is Bearer token. Oh, what? I don't think I have the correct user here.
Nope, you were seeding fresh.
Yes. Okay, so let's do this. Email, and I think all of them have this password. They don't. Okay, back to the drawing board. So token.
Go to the user seed or to the
user
factory.
seeder, yeah.
I don't know where you set what's in the factory, I think. Yeah, that's no good idea.
Not a good idea, yeah. Okay, so let's do the hacky thing. User first update. Yeah, it will be the first one. And then password. This. And decrypted. All right, Let's hit it. Okay, the password should be changed now, and we should be able to authenticate or get a token, and we have the token. Okay, so this is the me route, a get authentication with bearer token. Boom, we should
You
get
could
the user.
use a variable for the environment. Or
I know.
not, using the same as we did earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't, yeah.
Don't have to do it.
That
Exactly
way you
now.
don't have to copy it.
Mm-hmm. Token, initial value, current value. Parking. Really? Did it not get added? Oh, it's here. Right, let's check the environment to parking. And instead of using this one here, we can do token. Okay, and this should give us the same thing. So back to the, okay, we don't need this anymore. And we need a post to, how was that request, that endpoint again?
Reservations.
Yeah. And there, token, action is unauthorized. Did I not return true? I did not.
No.
Okay, boolean array clean up. Okay, so I think we already did some logic in here. So we want the spot ID, we want the start, and we want the end, and the return variable should be the reservation ID. And we do it this way because, again, imagine the workflow. We wanted the high availability, and we don't want the users to be able to book or to reserve the same spot at the same time. Yeah? So when the user clicks on the spot, that spot should be reserved temporarily with the start and end, but it should not be paid for. So after we do the payment, and we should also give him a time frame to complete the payment. And if the payment is not done in, let's say, 10 minutes, then we will delete the reservation and the spot will be available again. And we can also show a countdown on the front end for the user. All right, so we don't need this data. So what we want, a start, we want an end, and we want a spot ID. So start will go with this and this, and then the spot ID, we wanted 1. So let's check something in the future. So 7 from 0 o'clock to 10 o'clock for the spot ID 1. Okay, so this data should be here, but we didn't validate it. So let's validate it. You want the start and spot ID, and they will be required. It'll be a date. Okay.
Maybe you can validate for in the future, because you can't book something in the past.
Mm-hmm. So also after should be after start.
Right.
Yeah. How can I do in the future?
After today, for example.
Like this, and then I should concatenate the now, the today.
No, today, the name, the word today.
You think this exists?
Yes.
Okay, but this doesn't allow for now. So is there an after now? Because I can book maybe in the same day.
I'm not sure, but we can check it out.
Okay, let's check it out.
I never had to check for the time right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that. now, after or equal to now. Okay, let's test it out. Microphone again, Andre. Oh wait, that was for. Alright, so I think this actually works. But I don't think it will be an equal, so just after. Okay, whatever. Let's try it. So let's put something in the past, and this should give us a validation. Yeah. Good. Good. Why it doesn't work now? You see? Start date must.
It's not 21.
Oh wait, it's in the future.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's 2020. Holy.
Yeah.
Okay, and now the end date also should be after start. I like it.
It's
okay.
Also 2020. All right.
Good. And now this one should be also required. And it should also exist on the
just a personal thing. I wouldn't use the exists validation rule
Why?
anymore, because like with this automatic message from that validation, you can find out what you have in your database, you know. And not in your, as an attacker, you get information you shouldn't be able to get.
Okay, so just required.
You can do the check like in a custom rule, or you might change the validation message for that specific rule to not give information. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay.
So you can still use the exists, but you have to change the message, because the default message says, oh, that exists already in your database. And if you do that with emails, for example, and yeah, not the best idea.
Okay. All right. So we have the data. We know that it's good for now. I will make that edge case later. So let's create the reservation. So reservation equal create, and let's see what we have here. So we'll have a user. Maybe we should do this. Request user reservations create. Do you think I should pass the all or validated, request validated in here?
I'm not sure about the structure. If you can create the reservation with this free fields, I'm not sure if there's anything else needed.
Okay, we'll try it.
Which can't be null, for example.
Well, we have the spot.
Can you open
all of them?
Can you open the reservations table on the right side?
Yes, it is open now. You want it expanded?
Yeah. I just want to see the columns and what's down. All right. So you have a paid ad, which should be nullable. The created thing is okay. Spot ID. I think it will work if you do the request validated.
Okay, so reservation controller, we do this, but then we have to return a resource collection. So let's make a resource for an actual resource, not not a collection. So
Yeah.
let's make resource. Okay. Reservation. Okay. But before I go ahead and create this stuff, let's just do this. Do reservation first, so I can try multiple times without having to create new reservations. Okay, so if we go to the mic route, this is what we have. Okay, so let's do it nicely formatted in here. Okay, so this is returning all the fields, but I don't think we want that. Spot ID. And pay that, why not? And maybe also the created ad, because we want to show the user a list of his reservations.
Yeah, you could use that for the countdown as well.
For the what?
For the countdown.
Ah, countdown.
Like that 10 minutes, for example.
Yes, that's right.
Until,
So we should have almost the same thing except the updated ad. We don't need that in the front end, I believe. Okay, so that means if we go to our reservation controller, check this again, make sure that everything is fine. Okay, so we're gonna create reservation. We're gonna put date in the future, a spot ID 1. So this should create a new reservation and we should get a resource back. And we do. So let's check in the database as well. Okay. So user 1, spot 1 in the future with a pay that nulled and the correct data. So that's fine. Let's go to the next one. So next endpoint is updating the reservation. And I think we'll do updating the reservation and then deleting it and call it a stream here. Okay. Okay. Reservation controller update delete. So reservations, and this will be a patch, and this will be a delete. Oh, this is the same. Do you use delete, destroy? I think it's destroy.
Destroy.
Yeah.
Just stick to Laravel in the case.
Yeah.
But as long as you define it correct in the routes table file or routes file, it's fine. You can use whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we also have to do is authorize this update. So we can update only if the request user is the same as the owner of this reservation. And the same here. I want to delete. Do you think inline or with authorize?
You could use like a policy for that. You don't have to write things on your controller stuff.
Yeah.
So you can only update if it's your own
Okay.
Or maybe kind of one with more rights than a normal user can update as well. But yeah, for now it's good if you check if it's the same user.
Okay, so reservation policy.
I think if you add the model flag on the policy, that will create all the rules.
Okay, let's try that. I mean, like this.
Yes.
Okay, view any, create, update.
Yes.
And I think this should be a boolean, and we should return if
return user ID. This user ID.
User ID equal to reservation user ID.
Correctly.
And this is the same for deletion. And we don't need the rest for now. Let's clean up this because it looks a bit messy. And the return type should always be.
It should be boolean.
Boolean.
Yeah.
Why is it mixed here? Okay, not important. Now exactly how to check that. Trying to find out the actual check. So I think it's directly can.
Yes, it's can.
So request user can. This is update, and we pass the reservation, and then can delete the reservation. Okay, let's see first.
You could check or do that check in your request directly instead of returning true. You can authorize it by using the can method.
That's right. Let's do that. I think I like that approach better.
Yeah, that's good.
Make request update.
So
reservation update.
What you had to do here when you do check that in the controller method, you have to have like an if statement where you check if the user can, and then you have to react on that if it's not, and return something, and then keep on going if the user can. So that doesn't make sense. It's messy, and so put it in your form request in the authorize method, and then everything's fine.
Reservation destroy request. Okay. So in here, on the authorization, I think I can do this user or request user. This user instead of a request user.
Yeah. In your form request, you can reference the request of this.
And in this case, is how do I access the reservation in this case?
Yeah, you can do that. This I have to check it out first. Yeah, I always keep forgetting that. I always have to check it myself first.
Okay, you do that while I do the boilerplate in here. Okay, can you check it in the meantime?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, so let's go first to the update, and we want to. What do we want to update? Do we even want to update this? Like, we will make a payment, and then we'll. Do we want them?
I guess what you want to update is the correct dates, because in your first create request you just set like dummy dates because you don't have any dates, and in your update request you only want to update the dates, like start and end. Yep. So not the paid ad. Maybe you can do that as well.
Sometimes, because maybe you don't want to change them. So they start and end, but in this case it doesn't. What if we don't pass a start, but we pass an end, and we just change the end? I think we should still send them all the time.
Yeah. makes it easier to. You could use like you can use the sometimes rule, and if it is miss a word, if it's in the request included, then it will be validated, and then it's in the validated. Now I think it will still be in the request validated array, even if it's not there, and then it will be null and will be overwritten. So yeah, we should, needs to be sorted out first.
Okay. And the destroy. Okay, found anything with that? Okay, I don't think we need anything else here. So we're gonna check this. Then we'll do observation update. What do you usually return after destroy? Just an OK?
4 or 5, I think. No, not 4 or 5, 2 or 5. I'm not sure right now. I'm checking the thingy with the parameter. I think it's this route or route and then the parameter name. So I don't have an example here on my current project.
204.
204.
So for a delete request, HTTP 200 or 204 should imply resource deleted successfully. HTTP 202 can also be returned, which would imply that the instruction was accepted by the server and the resource was marked for deletion. We don't do soft deletes in this case, so I guess 204 should be fine.
So 204, not 205.
Yeah. And let's just return OK. Did you find how to get the reservation inside the form request?
Yeah, try that. Go in the request.
Yep.
And dd this route. Well, yeah, maybe just type the string reservation. Okay. I think it's route colons and then points to reservation. Okay. I think this is the one.
Okay, duplicate patch reservations. We have this. We have the body start end. We don't have the spot. The patch is not supported for this. Yes, of course.
You have spot ID. Yeah. You just removed it.
No, I have to pass it in the URL.
Why?
Well, that's how I have the API route. You think I should not pass it like this?
Oh, yeah. So /1 in this case.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it seems like
there we have it. I think you can you still try the other way?
Yes.
So root colon, open colon, close colon. Yeah, enter.
Yeah.
That's it, and that points to reservation. I think this should work as well.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So that's how you access this.
Okay. So this user can update the reservation. And let's grab a reservation that's not made by this user, so 170. And this should return unauthorized. Big success. Big success. So this will be a Boolean.
Well, that for me is the neatest way to do that.
Yes,
stuff.
It is.
Instead of handling with if statements and check, deliver a different response on things, and everything in the controller doesn't like it. So that's the better way. It's clean.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we get the user can delete, and this will be for the reservation destroy. And let's try the same thing on destroy. So delete 170, this is unauthorized, but if we select that reservation that we just created of this user to 80, this should be okay, and the return should be a JSON with okay. Huh? It didn't return.
It's 204, you see.
Yeah, but it didn't return. I think I didn't return anything in the controller.
No, go back to the postman. And yeah, there it is. All right, that's your 204 response, so everything's fine. And you can leave it empty array, no string in it, nothing. That's fine.
Great. I like it. So clean.
So, but you didn't delete the reservation.
Yeah, I think that will help.
Yeah.
Okay. So this should actually delete it, and we shouldn't have the last reservation in the database, and we don't. And with this, let's go through the checklist again. We got this one working. We got this one working. Update, correct. Calculate payment, and the payment, this will be something for the next stream. And we have the deletion and the patching, correct. And we got this as well. So I think this concludes our effort today, Andre. It was a bit longer than expected, but hey, yeah. we got it. And let's also do this. Great. So clean.
Yeah, I think my dog is gonna burst in a few minutes.
Okay, then
to go outside.
I will commit this files, and I will let you go.
Yeah, it was nice again.
Thank you for joining me, Andre. Do we need any of this? No, we don't. All of it in.
It just reminds me how many things you keep forgetting. You know, like you always have to look at the documentation, for example, or for other examples on earlier projects, and to get what you used to know. And yeah, well, maybe the age of my age. You're young, so you haven't got a problem.
Wow. Yes. I'm not that young. I still forget stuff.
All right.
Okay, so everything is live. You can find this repo here, parking system, and you can play around with it. If you want, you can even make pull requests. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Yes, 12-hour stream. Thank you for joining me, and see you next time. Ciao, ciao.
All right. Bye.